Alright, so now that we've finished our delicious little donut, it's kind of lonely. So having a few friends might be nice. So we can share. So what we're going to do is we are going to go to the Select Move Tools, and we're going to go to Translate. Since this is the only thing in the scene, it's the only thing in here to translate. So I could take it, I could scale it. If you scale it from the center, you can make it a big donut. I can also go to my object list, and that donut is here. It's the torus. When it's selected, it's yellow, and I went in the object list and selected it here. From here, I can right-click and duplicate that object. Now I have two donuts. So if I go to the Translate now, donut 2 is selected, and I lift that one up, you see we have two of them. So I could rotate it. Move it. Kind of rest one on the other. To deselect, to unhighlight it, I should say, it's still selected, but just Control left mouse, and then I can deselect it. But you can see it still has the manipulator tool. But let's go back to the sculpting tool, and maybe it's just a little bit bent. You know, it's the weight of it or whatever, depending on how it's set. So I literally could go in and use the grab. Oops. B as in boy, left mouse to change the brush size. And then literally I can actually like have it slump over, or if I make the brush big enough, I can kind of pull it down. Now if it's at a high resolution, like this is in the millions, your machine's going to chug. So what might be easier is to page down to a lower resolution. Oops, and make sure, let's use this one. Oh, that's right, silly me. The history of that one got deleted, so this is how high that one actually is. So I'd have to actually do it to the original to scale it down, but that's okay. Later on, we will discuss there are ways of what's called retopologizing and lowering the resolution, remeshing this, but we're not going to do that for this exercise. But just wanted to let you see this and how we can kind of adjust things, or even like, oh, it's supposed to be resting, right? So maybe this part of the donut here would just be pushed up just a little bit like that. And then we would go in move it so it's resting flatter on the ground like that, which would make a little more sense. And now all I have to do is some renders. So now that I've got it set up and I'm ready to do my renders, now I find the right lighting and the right material that I want. And if I like, you know, like this shot right here, but I'm like, the lighting, I could try a different lighting pass to see what will look better. And later on we'll go into how to adjust your lighting so that it's you can make your own custom lighting for it to make it look nice. So once you find the lighting that you like, we go up to render, and you basically render your screen here. Let's just say we're going to do 1280 by close to 720, something like that. And then you hit save image, and then it's going to ask where do you want to save it. And I would just pick where, like wherever my school folder is, wherever I'm putting stuff in. Never mind that says 2017. Donut render 1. So when I type that in, and we could just say .jpg, save. And I'd render a few different shots so I could see it. That might be a good shot here so I could see all the little details and stuff on it. Maybe I don't want it to look too similar, so I'll rotate this one so we don't see the same difference. Render, same. We'll say this is donut render, and we'll call this one number 2. And then last but not least, I position the camera where I want, and I could do a turntable animation. And these are really cool, especially for characters. So you start it off where you want it. Render, create turntable movie. And we will choose something like, let's 1280 by 720. Let's say we're going to do about 240 frames, 24 frames a second. Same deal, where we put it. Make sure you know where you're putting it at, otherwise you have to look for it. Oops, not summer. Donut movie tie. And so now when I have that in, hit save, and it's rendering that animation as we speak. So it's making a movie for it. So while it's doing that, let's go to that folder. How fast it takes is going to depend on your computer. And now we have it. So here's my rendered images, or rather this one and this one. Might hide the grid next time. I forget that it puts it in there. And here's my movie. Yay! And that's how we do it. You just upload these files to VoiceThread and Canvas. And that gives you just a rough of just the tools and just some of the things you can do in a quick, easy way. Later on, we're going to get into some character sculpts and talking about silhouettes. But this is a good introduction. And if you've already touched Mudbox before, it's a good way, if you haven't touched in a while, of just getting in and doing some stuff. All these files, once again, are downloadable. If you haven't gotten them already, or if you look through the videos first, they are in they're in Canvas under Files, under Mudbox.